Good morning, everyone. Mike and Corey here today. I guess I should have left my green shirt on. This is a little different color green than yesterday because the markets continue to, I hate to say scream higher, but they're screaming higher, but they're nowhere near the all-time highs. So we won't start celebrating just yet. Three key topics. One is I'll actually cover some bad news I see out there, which is credit card delinquency rate going up. And then Corey's going to dive into some exciting topics regarding Tesla and Bitcoin correlation. So with that, this is a financial education presentation. You must do your own due diligence on anything that you hear in this presentation. More disclaimer information can be found on ankerstarwealth.com, and the opinions expressed are mine and Corey's alone. So we like back-to-back days of green. So here's what we have today. The S&P's up 2.7% and the NASDAQ's up a little bit over 3.7%. And the only thing you see in the red is the VIX, which is the fear index, and we want that to go down. So I'll just click on the S&P graph for 5 days, and you can see the, we'll just look at the 5-day chart. And you can see after being down, you can see a nice uptrend yesterday and a nice uptrend today. So we love that. What's causing that? Right on the top, you see the header. Treasury Secretary Bessent says that China and U.S. have an opportunity to make a deal. They're starting to sense some positivity that Trump's ready to cut a deal. And then most importantly, Trump said he's not going to fire Chairman Powell. Hard to believe that could be a market mover, but I think it is, by not firing him. Now his term goes through May of next year. I imagine at that point he could be replaced, but at least he's not going to be fired in the short term. And that's good news because Powell has done I believe he's done a very good job so far. I don't think he's been too slow or whatever Trump said. I mean, he's been very positive, and it's almost like he's the adult in the room that says, yes, we're going to remain neutral of political cycles, and we're not going to bend to that because that's what the Fed does. Is it basically handles inflation, handles joblessness, and hopefully we do not go into a recession. So with that, and usually I'm all about just giving out good news. I love giving out good news, but I did see this today as well, and this is not good news. So the U.S. is driven by consumer economy, and credit card payments are reaching a record high. We're also seeing past due payments on auto and student loans. And if you can remember, student loans were suspended for a long time during COVID, but all of these things are back. And this is very concerning to me right here. The percentage of credit card accounts that were at least 90 days past due hit a 12-year high. So this is not good news. So if you remember during COVID, they sent out checks. People paid down their credit cards, believe it or not. We actually saw a dip on credit being used and certainly on delinquencies. And I believe, and the opinions are expressed are mine, I believe that money that was kind of saved up during COVID has been spent. And now we're back to using credit cards. So, Corey, what do you think about that for consumer economy?
I was going to ask you because how old are your oldest kids? Are they in their 20s?
21.
21. I wonder if you're hearing it because mine are 5 and 7, so we don't have any credit card issues with them. Yeah, I wonder, are you hearing anything from your older kids about friends or what they're saying?
Well, my kids use the old debit card. I mean, they do have a credit card that I have basically parental access to keep it frozen so they don't run into debt. But it starts to establish at least their credit rating for either auto loans or maybe someday a house loan. So I know mine don't run into that issue. Remember how we talked about all the buy now, pay later? Now, technically, that's kind of like a credit card. It's credit of some sort. Mine live on that cash basis. When the paycheck hits, I've got money, and before the 2-week cycle, happens, I probably run out of money. So that's where mine live.
Yeah, well, I certainly, for every person out there, I hope that anyone that is getting advice from us or has worked with us understands that you don't want to get into any ongoing debt cycle. Certainly with credit cards, obviously student loans. Some people pay the minimum, some people get those done quickly, and then on the car thing, there's different philosophies out there, but a car is a depreciating asset, so it's certainly not one that you'd want to sink too much into, right, above and beyond what you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and hey, I'll just say on credit cards, when we get to advice on investing, and when I sit down with someone, if they have credit card debt, I'm just straight up honest. There is no investment that I would put you in that is going to beat a guaranteed 25% interest. I mean, yes, there are investments that go up over 25% in a year, but I don't know that for sure. Whereas if you have a credit card balance and you're paying 25 or 29% interest, you've got to get that thing paid down. It is pure money for Chase or Bank of America or whoever your credit card's through. So that is first and foremost. And 90 days delinquent, that means you're missing months. You're accruing late fees and interest, and while kind of lowering your credit score quite a bit. So this is probably one of the key traps people can run into. Credit cards have a use. There's definitely a use for credit cards. There's some benefits to them, but it's like any tool. If you use it the wrong way, it will hurt you. So that's my 2 cents on credit cards. So talking about interesting use, why don't you take us to Tesla?
Yeah, they don't have a credit card. They well, not a big one. They have a very clean balance sheet, but unfortunately, that's about the only good thing you can say about Tesla these days. Earnings per share, it's a relevant number, but a little bit irrelevant. It's a volatile measure. So of course they missed heavily there. This one is more meaningful. Revenue, their own company estimates were at 21 billion, and of course analysts too, and they came in at 19. That's a huge miss. That is a miss above and beyond a timing issue, or we had a bad weekend, or there was some weather. No, that's a change. That's a consumer change. One of the things that they're saying about Tesla right now is many people have an opinion, well, around Elon Musk, but a lot of those opinions involve his political participation. Some people view this as very positive. Some people view this as negative. That's just how all politics works. So it's also taken his time away from Tesla, which is something to consider as well. But I guess what you're getting is people who view his political activities as negative, they don't want to buy Teslas right now. And a lot of the people who view his political participation as positive, those are also people who like the drill baby drill kind of stuff, and they don't really look for EVs that much. So it's sort of like a no man's land in terms of the brand and who is Tesla for right now. That's a tough question to answer. The shares are down a bunch. The shares have never been, the company is not valued on fundamentals at all. It's all about the future. So let's see. The stock is up big today because.
Isn't that amazing? They miss on earnings, miss on revenue, and
missed on everything.
What's the stock doing?
The stock's up big because of the future. So of course, if somebody said you're invested for Tesla because of car sales, that'd be the stupidest thing, right? So of course you're not invested for Tesla for that. So here's what you're invested in Tesla for. The future of the company These are quotes from Elon Musk. The future of the company is fundamentally based on large-scale autonomous cars and large-scale and large volume, vast numbers of autonomous humanoid robots. Okay, is Tesla winning in autonomous cars? Not at all. Is Tesla winning on scale and volume of autonomous cars? Not at all. As far as truly autonomous cars, Waymo is the leader. Amazon has autonomous cars on the ground. And here's the other thing, Mike, that people don't say. You know, rewind 10 years. Who was Tesla competing against? Ford, GM, whoever, you know, any automaker. Who is Tesla competing against now? Google, Amazon, and of course some of those Chinese competitors. This is a different group of competitors. These competitors aren't debt riddled, you know, they aren't bogged down with debt. These competitors are in the marketplace now. The value, so this is Elon said, the value of the company that makes truly useful autonomous humanoid robots and autonomous useful vehicles at scale at low cost, which is what Tesla is going to do, is staggering. Okay. Is Tesla winning in humanoid robots? They are not. So no one really is, but there's a bunch of players in the space. Tesla is not the only one. And of course, we haven't seen an end product of that. I think he did say that he's predicting sales of 1 million plus Optimus robots per year starting in 2029. Mike, do you want a humanoid robot at the house? I've never asked you.
I really do. I really would like one. You know, I don't know what they'll do. Maybe go out, get the mail, maybe run down to the store and grab something. Sure, you know, I'm willing to try it. You know, I like to be on the cutting edge. I will say, you know, with Tesla, you know, I drive a Tesla. There you go. So, and I used to work for General Motors, and my wife works for Ford now. So I do have experience in the automotive industry. But here's the thing with Tesla, and I'll say I used to be a big user of the Netscape browser, and it was like one of the first ones. Well, it wasn't quite the first, but it was one of the first ones to come out. It kind of paved the way for the rest. And then now I use Chrome or whatever on Safari on the Mac. But I don't have Netscape anymore. Could it be that Tesla paved the way for electric vehicles? It was the first one. Actually, I worked for General Motors. There was an EV one in the 90s, but Tesla was the first one where we really sold them. Did it pave the way for the rest of them? But it's going to lose market share along the way. And, you know, so a couple things, you know, that. And then the other thing is Elon Musk, visionary, you know, think Steve Jobs. But Apple has been, you know, arguably more successful with Tim Cook, you know, as far as rolling it out. And Elon is clearly splintered with what his focus is. There's XAI, there's X, Twitter, whatever, there's space programs, there's Doge. I mean, would he be doing himself a favor, since he has a lot of stock, to find a good execution person like a Tim Cook and let this company run to compete with the rest? Probably, maybe.
Interesting. Okay, here's his robotaxi. I think I said on the last earnings call that we will start to see the prosperity of autonomy take effect in a material way around the middle of next year. We expect to be selling fully autonomous rides in June in Austin, as we've been saying for several months. So that's continued. So we will see. This is putting boots on the ground. A lot of the things that Elon says about Tesla, you know, it's kind of always like that sports team that isn't quite there. You know, it's like a next year story, right?
Next year, yeah.
Oh yeah, we got next year though. He's saying it's this year, so we'll see.
Well, all I can say is I've had my Tesla for almost 6 years. I bought the full self auto drive, you know, 5.5 years ago, with the expectation that, you know, a year or two I would have full self drive. I do kind of have full self drive now, but it makes me pay attention to the road, which is probably a good thing. This isn't a driving class. but it's taken a long time to even get there. Whereas when I was in Scottsdale, when I was in Scottsdale, I took a Waymo to the airport and I sat in the back seat. I didn't even have to pay attention. That's full self-drive to me. When I can stop paying attention and trust the vehicle. So hopefully we're getting there.
Hopefully, that's the hope, right? That's why the stock is up, right? Okay, he says on Optimus Robots, I think we feel confident in getting to 1 million units per year in less than 5 years, maybe 4 years. So by 2030, I feel confident in predicting 1 million Optimus units per year. It might be 2029. That's just like the most Elon quote ever. I really like that. I love Elon as a visionary. His interviews are amazing and he's very insightful. I just think he's obviously had a long leash here with Tesla on what he promises versus what he delivers. Like when did they announce the Roadster car? Like 2018, and they haven't delivered any units of that ever, right? So
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so
that was out of my price range.
Some of these things kind of come and go. They don't get delivered on. He's had that leash. Does that leash ever get shorter? Not today. It's not. The leash is very long. On tariffs. Tariffs are still tough on a company when margins are still low. I think, yeah, their net margins were 2%. And without EV tax credits from the government, they would have lost money this quarter. But we do have localized supply chains in both America, Europe, and China. So that puts us in a stronger position than any of our competitors. That is true. And undoubtedly, I'm going to get a lot of questions about tariffs. And I just want to emphasize that the tariff decision is entirely up to the President of the United States. I will weigh in with my advice with the President, which if he will listen to my advice, but then it's up to him, of course, to make his decision. And then last on Tesla Energy. Mike, here's the issue with Tesla Energy. Year over year up 67%, but quarter over quarter down. And so the comps are getting harder. I mean, they really didn't have a win in any part of their business this quarter. But he said, with respect to energy, our energy business is doing very well. The mega pack enables utility companies to output far more total energy than would otherwise be the case. When you think of the energy capability of a grid, it's much more than, let's say, total energy output per year. Okay, so look, quality company, good products, amazing balance sheet. It just, hey, it's all about the future.
Hey, and just so some people might ask, so do we have Tesla in our models? We do not have a direct position of Tesla, but we do use TXS, which is companies headquartered in Texas, of which Tesla is one of those. So we do have exposure to it, as well as some other technical holdings that would pick up a Tesla, but we don't have like an individual position in it. So anything else for today? Okay.
That's it.
All right. Well, let's hope for another green day. Let's hope today continues on, and then hopefully tomorrow will be another green day. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one. Bye.